Hello. This presentation will cover a brief analysis of Samsung's smartphone supply chain with a focus on upstream, downstream, and midstream challenges. The members of this group are Hajar, Ziad, Marwa, Maida, Fadia, and Mohab. Samsung is the largest South Korean multinational business conglomerate. Founded as a trading company in 1938, it expanded into divergent sectors such as food processing and textiles. It was officially established as Samsung Sanyo Electronics in 1969 with headquarters in Seoul. Today, its major sources of income are its mobile phones and semiconductors. The business environment comprises the external and internal factors that affect the business. The current global economic slowdown has proved tough for technology firms and has led to the increase in market competition where Samsung faces Apple, Xiaomi, and Huawei. Interestingly, Samsung supplies the display screens and chips to Apple, making Apple Samsung's biggest customer. Samsung secures a competitive edge in cost, quality, technology, and human resources in order to maximize synergy, speed, and efficiency with their suppliers and create a corporate ecosystem that enables sustainable growth. They request that international standards and regulations be abided by with an aim to build an open and transparent management accountability system that engages all stakeholders along the supply chain. Downstream influence can be presented by the level of technology used in the smartphone and the compatibility with all applications, and the legal obligations and agreements of usage which was observed by the recent ban for Google applications for major competitor Huawei and the restriction of usage in certain countries. Some of the downstream challenges that Samsung faces in their smartphone supply chain include pricing, where they have different prices based on performance and costs, quality, which includes the different qualities presented starting from basic cheap phones until the latest generation of folding screens, speed of delivery, and flexibility, which can offer high volumes upon request. Taking into consideration the strongest two competitors, Apple, who compete with very high quality but a higher price, and branded applications and operating systems, and Huawei, who compete with lower price but relatively lower quality. However, they do suffer from legal issues, and their CEO was arrested along with US ban for technology usage. Focusing on delivering advanced technology with lower prices led to an attempt to reduce the manufacturing cost. However, due to the high competition, especially with the Note 7, they crushed the quality assurance for the batteries, which eventually resulted in a defaulted battery and caused a crash in said product and questioned the reputation of Samsung. This resulted in the elimination of the product from the market. To mitigate the effect, Samsung withdrew the defaulted product from the market and compensated the customers, and immediately after that came up with the new product to create a competitive advantage and fulfill the customers' requirements with high-performance smartphones with a small size and big screen at lower price than major competitor iPhone, and this requirement was fulfilled by the new folding screen mobile phone. Some of the midstream challenges that Samsung faces in their smartphone supply chain include 1. Rising costs of transportations, 2. Managing smartphones manufacturing facilities situated in 6 different countries, and 3. Plans of expanding the plants in order to increase the productivity despite labor costs being high. Manufacturing in a country requires a full understanding of the legal rules and responsibilities. The 6 countries which Samsung manufactures their smartphones in have different restrictions and policies which might be renewed or updated at any given time, such as manufacturing rules, duties, or even taxes. This poses certain risks on Samsung. For example, government rules might result in drastic cost increments, decreasing the company's profit margin overall. This is what we saw happen with the case of Samsung and the Indian government earlier this year of 2019. Relying on 2 main manufacturing facilities in 2 different regions can cut off 2/3 of the added effort. The choice should be done based on the highest unit's productivity along with the lowest cost of production. As it's known, it's easier to manage shorter supply chains. Specializing and dividing tasks among factories should result in stronger process management along with maintaining high production quality. Some of the upstream challenges that Samsung faces in their smartphone supply chain include political and economic instability in supplying countries that provide Samsung with key electronic components, lack of quality control on specific components manufactured by suppliers, and having multiple suppliers for the same type of component. Due to political and economic instability in countries that manufacture major components of Samsung's full range of smartphones, as a result of war in neighboring countries and acts of terror within the supplying country itself, Samsung faces significant consequences as this affects the supply chain all the way down. This instability will cause one of two evils to befall Samsung's smartphone SBU. Either Samsung's supplier costs will increase and thus their prices, or worse, Samsung may lose access to the supplier's goods altogether without notice, essentially severing an entire upstream connection to a major supplier, leaving Samsung dead in the water. In the case that the situation in the supplying country continues to worsen, it may be safe to assume that the supplier will have a set of valuable and experienced human resources that are no longer able to work under such conditions. This is an opportunity for Samsung to hire the supplier's old talent and produce the supplied components in-house and under Samsung's own supervision. Taking responsibility and advancing human rights management along the entire supply chain, creating a corporate ecosystem that enables sustainable growth, Samsung can access and manage the environmental impact that may occur in their suppliers' components, raw materials, and manufacturing process, building a transparent management accountability system that engages all stakeholders along the supply chain. Samsung has avoided the bullwhip effects by having enhanced demand forecasting tools based on historical sales data, and using the integration of demand management and forecasting tools with existing supply chain and logistics systems. Also, they have a comprehensive plan created through collaboration between sales, marketing, and supply chain operations, and other means. Samsung applied some of the best practices supply chain, such as extended value chain towards its suppliers, collaborative customer process towards its product development, creating resilience and competitive advantages like strategic positioning in the industry value chain and product services differentiation. Supply chain management practices in Samsung has a great benefit in creating competitive advantage.